are finally reasons to be excited if you're an Arsenal fan. And I know we lost to Inter Milan yesterday, and we're going to speak about that in this video. But there are reasons to be optimistic. In this video, I'm going to bring a bit of positivity to the Arsenal fan base because there's a lot of negative reaction out there. And I understand some of it is warranted. We're going to speak about it. But there are also reasons going forward to be very, very excited. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Before we get into it, though, just do me a favour and hit like on this video. So before we get into the video, there are a number of main talking points I want to touch on from yesterday's game, and none more so than the penalty shouts, the one that Inter Milan got and the one that Arsenal didn't get. So before I give you my opinions, I need help trying to understand what happened. Let me know your thoughts on why Arsenal didn't get a penalty and your thoughts on it, and the Inter Milan penalty, the Mikel Merino handball. Let me know in the comment section. So first of all, I want to say Arsenal dominated that game at a time where we've been struggling to even get a foothold, like a grab on the game. Arsenal seem to play very well. Now, I know the result is disappointing, but for me, I'm looking at this game and saying this isn't as devastating as when we lost to Bournemouth, when we lost to Newcastle, for example. Like, any team in the world can go to the San Siro and lose against Inter Milan, so that doesn't concern me. Of course, I would love to be in a position where we win every single game. Unfortunately, it's not a reality. Arsenal will lose games in a season, and if you're telling me we're going to go away to Inter Milan, dominate the game, lack creativity up top, which we will talk on, but lose the game 1-0 in maybe a... there was a circumstance surrounding the penalty where, was it a penalty, was it not a penalty? So I don't think Arsenal lost too much credit in that loss. Of course, I would have loved the win. Of course, the dominating play that was on display, I would have loved it if we could have gone ahead and scored 2 or 3 goals. It didn't happen. Arsenal lost. We're still in a good position in the Champions League. And that's why maybe I'm not as stressed out as when we lost in the league, for example, because you can look at the league and say, right, we're getting to a point where there's a big gap to bridge in terms of points. In the Champions League, we're still there or thereabouts where you need to be in a good position. So we still got some games coming up in the Champions League that I think Arsenal are more than capable of winning. That is the first time we've lost in the Champions League this season. We've had 2 away games, 2 home games. So we've drawn 1, won 2, lost 1. It's not the end of the world. Martin Odegaard is back. That is a very big reason to be excited. Like, we didn't really have a time frame on when Martin Odegaard would be returning to this Arsenal team. And it has been plain as day to see that Arsenal lack creativity. We saw it in yesterday's game. I think it actually changed when we saw the addition of Ethan Nwaneri. I thought he was a bright spark, as we've spoken about in previous videos. But to see Martin Odegaard back at a time where Arsenal now are starting to dominate and play in a way where you're thinking, do you know what? Just if we had that creativity in the final third, like, we would be a danger. I can see us putting a run of performances together that makes me think, right, now this Arsenal team is ready to try and gain ground on Liverpool, on Man City. So I just look at that and think that is definitely, that's definitely a positive. Also, I'm looking at the fact that Arsenal have played, in the league anyway, the majority of their difficult games. If you look at Arsenal's difficult fixtures, we've got most of them out of the way already. You're looking at tough away from home games. We've obviously got another difficult one this weekend, but after that game's out the way, you're looking forward and you're saying there will come a time in the season where Liverpool and Man City have a number of difficult fixtures in a row. And we've seen how Man City are struggling at the minute, and we will see going forward Liverpool start struggling. Anyone who thinks this Liverpool team won't have a dip in form is absolutely crazy. I said it last season. I said the season before. There were periods in those seasons where Liverpool were looking good, and they always do it, but they're not at the level yet needed to go and run away with the Premier League, run away with the Champions League. I'm seeing people comment saying Liverpool are looking good this season with Arne Slot. Liverpool are looking good this season in the Champions League with Arne Slot. There will come a time where Liverpool's form will drop. It's inevitable. It happens every single season. So I'm not looking at Arsenal's current position in the Premier League and the Champions League and being too negative about it now. I do think there's a big gap to bridge, if I'm being real, in the Premier League. But I do think there will come a run of games where you're looking at Arsenal's maybe 5-6 fixtures and you're saying we could get maximum points here, and Liverpool might have a Newcastle away, or they're going to have to play City, or they're going to have to play United, or who at the moment wouldn't be a difficult game. But there will come a point where they play teams and they drop points in areas where we're not expecting it. So that's reasons why I'm excited. We got Odegaard back. We've got the majority of our difficult fixtures out the way, and Arsenal now seem to be playing in a way that is showing me that they can, going forward, improve. But we do just need to improve in those forward areas, because even in yesterday's game, the lack of creativity is so blatant. Like, Arsenal at times were knocking the ball about so well, cutting through balls. But those final moments, it was like Saka was playing very well first half, but as soon as they started doubling up on him, it's like he didn't really have any other options. And as well with some of the other forward players, it's like they got the ball and you're thinking, right, there could be a moment here, but Inter Milan dropped and sat so deep and was so compact that there just wasn't a way through. And when you've got a player like Odegaard, maybe he can be the difference in finding a channel, find a movement able to break teams down. So I want to speak about the game yesterday in more detail. I've made some talking points here that I want to get people's opinions on. Like, when I'm watching a game, I make some notes on talking points that I want to hear people's opinions on. So let me know your thoughts on one of these. I'm going to just run through like a play-by-play. So after 1 minute, Inter Milan hit the bar, and I was thinking, you are joking me. This poor run of form is going to continue and we're going to concede after 1 minute at Inter Milan. It didn't pan out that way. After that, though, there was a silly yellow card on Gabriel, and I do want to know your thoughts on this. Should Gabriel be getting involved in a situation like that? Like, he was, that was very early in the game for Gabriel to keep pushing his man when the referee said, listen, you just need to pack it in. Like, I'm going to book you in a minute if you carry on. And then the ref was kind of ready to restart the game, and then they were still pushing each other, and the ref was like, I've literally just told you. So he had no other option to pull out the yellow card. I just want to know your guys' thoughts on that. Are we seeing this trend continue at a time where we've seen some silly red cards this season? Let me know your thoughts on that. Do Arsenal just need to learn to suck it up a bit and say, do you know what? I just need to listen to the ref here and get on with it? Because like that was dangerous yesterday, because Gabriel was then just one tackle away from being sent off, and we've seen what happens when Arsenal get players sent off. So after that, I've writ Saka, danger, man. It did seem like in that first half, Bukayo Saka was the guy where if something was going to happen, it was going to come through Bukayo Saka, because he was beating his man at times. There was one action in particular where they was doubled up on him and he sort of wriggled through, got to the byline and whipped it in. And I thought, if we can keep getting the ball out to Saka, then it seems like that's where it's going to come from. Now, I did make a note on a player next to that, and I don't want this to come across like I'm hating on this player. It's just something I noticed in the game, and it was Merino is struggling. Mikel Merino is going to be a fantastic player for Arsenal, but it's fair to say in the last few games, Merino is maybe struggling to get up to speed in the Premier League. Like, I'm seeing an opinion out there of people saying this player isn't good enough for Arsenal. I'm certainly not ready to start going that hard on Merino yet, but Merino is maybe struggling to adjust, or he's not quite at the level of some of our players that we see in midfield, like a Declan Rice, for example, as an Odegaard, which I'm not expecting him to be at that level because those players are world class. But Mikel Merino struggling in the first half. And then you had the penalty. Yes, it hit his hand, but like his arm wasn't exactly in an unnatural position. Like, when he was shutting the ball down. He was going for a block. And when you're going for a block, in the heat of the moment, the ball bubbles up and you just need to get it. You're not worried about where your hands are. The only thing you're worried about is getting to that ball. So when you kind of throw your body to the side to get there quicker, like, the momentum lifts your arm up automatically. You're not going to swing your body to the side and have your hands down by the side like a penguin. It just won't happen. He swung his body to the side to get the ball. His hands come up, and unfortunately the ball's hit him off of a deflection. Very, very unlucky. We know we wouldn't have seen this in the Premier League. In the Premier League, this would have got laughed away. But because it's the Champions League, those get given. We've seen them get given. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. Those are the rules. So I guess we just have to get on with it. And that's fair enough. But we should have at least had some consideration on the Mikel Merino one. Like, he literally got sparked clean out by the goalkeeper. Like, when they showed the replay, the slow-mo, it was almost like you was watching a boxing match. You know, where the boxers get punched and like the sweat just goes off their head. Like, we saw that, and it was like, well, Marino got to the ball first, and he just got sparked out. So surely there has to be VAR having a look at this, and surely the referee should be able to see that if Marino gets there first and then still gets punched, like, you have to, like, surely that's a penalty. I can understand the frustration of Mikel Arteta, who come out after and said, okay, the Marino one, if that's a penalty on the handball, then surely it has to be a header when he literally gets his fringe pushed back by getting punched so hard. Like, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on it. Should Arsenal have had a penalty? And should the Inter Milan one have been a penalty? Let me know in the comment section. After that, we saw Marino coming off at half-time, which maybe speaks to what we was talking about 2 seconds ago. Marino maybe was struggling, or maybe Mikel Arteta didn't see him as struggling, but he just had a different vision in his head, and he just wanted to go more attacking, and he thought Gabriel Jesus would inject some energy into this game. Maybe that could be the reason as well. And then we had the Havertz chance. There was kind of, with Havertz, a couple of half chances, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. What was your thoughts on those Havertz chances? Would a natural goal scorer number 9 have scored those chances? And I don't want this to be an attack on Havertz, because I know many people in the fan base don't want Havertz as the striker. I'm one of the maybe few that actually like Havertz as that central striker, but I did think yesterday he missed a few of those chances, and I was thinking, like, I think maybe you should have been more composed in those moments. So let me know your thoughts on Havertz and the striker situation at Arsenal. And then after that, I've just written a lack of creativity. You do it. It was like, at times when Arsenal were receiving the ball in those attacking areas, it was like they wasn't looking to make the moment happen themselves. It's like they was passing it on to someone else and saying, you do it. Like, Saka had the ball out wide, and maybe he had the option to take the man on. Martinelli a couple of times, he had the option to maybe try and beat the fullback and whip the ball in, but at times they was just coming back inside and laying it back centrally. And I know you have to be patient in build-up at times, but it did come across to me at times where it was a bit too patient. There wasn't enough energy or impetus to try and make that moment happen for yourself. He was just passing it on for someone else to do it. So yeah, I just thought the lack of creativity was blatant again. And after that, I just went lacking options on the bench. We was lacking options. It was like we saw the substitution in the first half, and then after that we didn't see a change, unless I'm mistaken, for, was it, I don't know, 80 minutes or something like that. So and then after that, we did see Odegaard back. It was good to see Odegaard back. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough time to make an impact on the game. But it's good. It's kind of like, let's write this game off, and then we should have Odegaard for more game time going forward. So I'm hoping we see that. And again, Ethan Nwaneri was bright when he come on. Maybe in this game, I would have liked to have seen him get some more minutes. It did seem when he come on, he seemed very, very confident. He had that moment in the end that just could have been special for him, but he just couldn't keep his body over the ball to keep it down. And that's okay. He's going to make mistakes. But I thought Ethan Nwaneri looked very, very good. And then the very last point I've got is we didn't whip the ball in at the end. What has been Arsenal's main secret weapon this season? Well, not secret weapon, because everyone knows about it. It's whip the ball in. Dead ball specialist. Get the ball in the box. There was 2 or 3 opportunities at the end. There was a free kick and possibly a corner, or there was 2 free kicks, where Arsenal had the chance to just get all your centre-backs forward, get every single person in the box, and do what's been so effective this season. Just whip the ball in. But they took the short free kick at the end, and then it didn't really materialise in being able to get whipped in for the centre-backs and the centre-mids to have a chance to get their head on it. And to me, that was frustrating, because it was like, if you wanted a moment at the end, you would have been hoping for a set piece, where it's like, last kick of the game, let's just whip a ball in. Like, we know this works for Arsenal because we've seen it so many times this season, last season. And when we got the free kick right at the end, after we had gone past 2 minutes of the extra added 5 minutes, I was thinking, right, this is a chance for us to just whip the ball in and see what happens. They put the ball down, no one was up there, and they just take the short free kick. And I'm thinking, what are we doing here? Like, surely you would just want to whip that ball in. Let me know your thoughts on it. But I was at the end, I was thinking, yes, this is a chance for us to whip the ball in. And when it didn't happen, and then kind of it broke down, and then the whistle went, I was thinking, that is so pointless. Like, we surely should have just whipped that ball in. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Let me know if you are as optimistic as me going forward. It's great to see Odegaard back. It's great that we've got the majority of our difficult games out the way. I don't know. What's your thoughts on Arsenal at the minute? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, like I said, if you could, just do me a favour and hit like on this video. Just like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.